Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, I'm actually going to go over an email that was sent to me over my SSM channel about a guy who is a professional matchmaker. That's right, you heard it, a professional matchmaker. It's a family business. I guess his mom started it decades ago before he was even born. This guy, by the way, he's 36. He's in a foreign country in Europe. He asked me not to say which one. And basically, this story is going to show how even though he worked for a matchmaking agency, and they did very well, this guy didn't know a damn thing about women at all. He obviously knew about pairing people together based on interests and life experiences and all that, but in terms of the actual things about handling the gals, creating attraction, maintaining attraction, all those types of things in relationships, this guy was clueless, the matchmaker. And you're going to see how all the different things he did wrong in his relationships that he shares, the things I tell you not to do. But eventually, the guy does see the light. He finds the R pill, finds me, and is done a complete 180. And now guess what? His relationship is going great, and he's able to take this knowledge to the family matchmaking business. That's obviously going to help them do very well. That'll be very good one to go over here, guys. Definitely entertaining because, again, this is coming from the perspective of a matchmaker. So you can have these matchmakers and these therapists and couples therapists. They can have that title. They can have the professional education, if you will, or do a certain thing, but they may themselves not know a damn thing about human nature and stuff like that. So that'll be a pretty entertaining one to go over here. And this guy's going to do a lot of things that'll make you guys cringe. But he does eventually make a comeback after literally, people get to the point that they just screw up so much, they finally that's it, I don't know what I'm doing, and they seek answers, and they usually do find it. It's like the saying, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear, or something like that. And that happened by him searching and finding other channels like mine and my channel, and now it's night and day difference in his life. And I'm sure it's helped a lot of you guys out as well. He says, Dear SSM, I would like to share my story with you. I'm a matchmaking agent in a family business who became very R-pilled. How funny, this guy writing in his story is a matchmaking agent in the family's business matchmaking agency. So it goes to show you, you can have a matchmaking agency and match people together based on how they look on paper, but it's not going to matter if you don't know the reality of human nature and the world we are in right now. The point of no return was when I ended my last relationship due to her costing me a ton of money, but in the end, being nothing but a liability. Cost you a ton of money, huh? I am in my mid-30s now, and basically we start back in 2016 when I was declared the company's successor and became managing director at my mom's business in 2018. In other words, the matchmaking business. A managing director in his 20s sounds odd, but for context, I work in our family business since I was 15 years old. I know everything and saw the family business grow and experience rough times as well. My mom runs the business longer than I am alive. We were 4 siblings, but except of me, they all took a different path in life. Okay, so interesting line of work. Now, you're working there at 15, obviously, you work for your mom, so legally you could do that. It's family business, and you were learning probably the operational side, but still, it's interesting how you people in the matchmaking business, but yet he makes all the mistakes he does with women and all that. So yeah, again, you compare people based on how they look on paper, but in reality, anyhow. So I was doing well for myself, had a degree, my own car, my beloved dog, who's still alive and well, by the way, and a stable income plus some benefits. For example, I never had to pay for any sort of travel expenses or for dining outwards because we were able to declare most of everything as business expenses and booked it on a credit card. I never use it extensively, but it is a really nice bonus. Well, this guy's overseas. He mentions to me in an email. He wanted me to tell you what country he's from. He wanted to keep a lower profile, if you will. But here in the U.S., you have a business and you go out to dinner and you discuss business or something like that. And yeah, you can write off the meal. But if you abuse that, you're going to have the IRS knocking on your door. But then I moved back to my hometown after some years of studying. As I grew up as a man whose standard is to live in a monogamous relationship, I was always seeking for one. Or to put it better, chasing one. Smack! Men should not chase relationships, women chase relationships. He says, typical for a dude growing up with a single MOM. I had my moments, but in a nutshell, I was a nice guy and a people pleaser. Yeah, that's not going to go well for you with women. Always made everyone happy and took the pain for the sake of keeping the relationship intact, be it a friendship with a family or a spouse. So in other words, you set yourself on fire to keep other people warm. How does it work out for you or anybody else doing that? Not very good. I started my career in 2016 and the company grew rapidly. Not long afterwards, we made structural changes around the office and the house it is in. In order to make space and keep up with the new workload, it was not long before my siblings, especially my older brother, noticed the flow of money. From there, things went down the drain with him, and I don't regret blocking him, his kid-beating wife, and his offspring on every communication channel there is. He still talks crap about me in front of my other siblings, and God knows who, but I don't care anymore. Well, he said the company started making a lot more money, and you were working there, and you're making more money, you're enjoying some of the profits, and he was jealous. My oldest sister is almost the same. Jealous as fuck, but does not admit it to it. She's married to a successful entrepreneur, has 2 kids with him, and basically made some very good decisions in life. I'd be happy if her personality was nearly as good, but we all know how the modern women are. My younger sister is the one I had the best connection with. We see each other regularly. I have great connections with her and her kids and get along well with her husband. They are great citizens. They live in a townhouse, have well-paying jobs, and at a large company. They're working 35 hours a week and rarely ever have time because of all the social obligations with kids, friends, neighbors, blah, blah, blah. 35 hours a week, 35-hour work week, clearly Europe somewhere. Back in the summer of 2018, I was promoted managing director, and it did not take long until the little changes in my online dating profiles took effect. Why am I using apps and stuff? I would never ever date a client. Strict rule, never broke it, never will. Well, good. You don't jeopardize your business. But as he said, he's promoted managing director, so he can change that in his profile, and that's going to have women thinking, ooh, he makes good money. You can imagine what kind of women I was up to at this point. Most of them were quite disappointed when I did not show up on the dates with a Porsche or an AMG, but my small and convenient, discreet SUV. He says, guys, I cannot recommend or understate more. It is very easy to get rid of the obvious gold diggers right away. Yeah, in other words, don't show up with an expensive car that you probably can't afford to impress them. You show up with a normal vehicle and take them out to, a drink for the first date or something like that, keeping it casual. You'll find out real quick who's in it to use you and who's in it because they actually want to get to know you and like you for you. I've had some chicks here and there, but nothing too serious. I was very unhappy about it because back then I wanted to find someone to start a family with. Get married and all that stuff. How times change. I would not get married today if it wasn't for marketing and personal brand reasons. Yeah, there's very little incentive for a man to get married nowadays, people obviously do it because of culture and religion. They want to have kids. That's usually the main thing. They want to have kids and keep it stable. But until things change around for guys with regards to the courts and things like that, I don't see why. I met this gal early 2019. Let's call her Tiffany because we all love Tiffany's, right? She was an attractive mid-20s gal, slim with long blonde hair. A very feminine dressage writer with a rather basic career choice. You know what? He goes, you know what's odd about horse people? They always smell like the digestive end products of said animals. So she loves to ride horses. And he says she always kind of smells like horse crap. Well, then why are you fucking dating her? She liked my sense of humor. We got along very well in the beginning. We brought our dogs to the first date and had a great time. On the third date, I invited her to my place, and we had some good old-fashioned fun whilst watching a movie in bed. Classic. We started dating and made it exclusive after a couple of months. Smack! Too soon. It'd take way longer than to get to know her and find everything. Observe the red flags, give it some time for her real personality to come out. A couple months too soon. Don't get me wrong, we always had a great time, but a 304 stays a 304. Well, then why were you in a relationship with her if you discovered she's a 304? You Mr. Matchmaker? It was not long until I discovered she has major issues in her life. Debt, fight with her parents, and so on. And when I neither understood nor gave any kind of meaning, she still lived together with her so-called ex. To be honest, this guy puts up with more crap than possibly any guy on earth. The ultimate master simp level 1 million, this guy is unbelievable. To this day, they still live together, and she cheats on him regularly, nearly every occasion. Well, here's where I'm confused. She was your girlfriend, and she was living with her ex. Why'd you allow that? Unless you are Mr. Simp yourself. You're calling him a simp, but what about you? Real Mr. Matchmaker? And did Did he think that he was in a relationship with her and he said she was cheating on him? This part, the on again, off again, this is the part that puzzles me here. I remember when Tiffany's family invited me for family dinner. It was her grandmother's 90th birthday. So I was happy to dress up accordingly and for once getting one of the nice cars out of the garage. Oh, I'll never forget the look on their faces when we pulled up in that thing. Yeah, they're thinking, oh, our daughter got a guy who can provide. We had some normal conversations. Everything was as expected, a little stiff, but all in all friendly. That's when her stepdad told me, I have to be quite a man if I want her to be in my life. She is, to put it short, rather expensive to maintain. You have no idea, you cheap son of a bitch, I thought, and said nothing. They're telling you, you have to be quite a man to take care of her. No thanks. I'd be like, I want a woman that can take care of her fucking self, but not be one of these ball-busting effinists. And there are those out there that have the happy medium guys. Tiffany's cousins were there too. They had great partners and kids. Of course, they asked about having kids and so on. She said she is not sure how to manage whilst working. I said, honey, you don't have to work if you don't want to, and you know that? The whole table was silent, and I smiled. A little later, I went outside for a smoke and talked to her sister a little bit. She told me stories about Tiffany's ex, how she was riding the carousel in her late teens and early 20s, how she cannot handle money and basically needs a very strong provider in order to survive. Yeah, dude, these are all red flags, aside from the fact he said she's living with her ex-boyfriend, who I guess he still thinks they're a couple. This is nuts. You should be ending it with her. This is why I told you don't rush into relationships, Mr. Matchmaker. I do not know what I responded, but something like, you don't know her the way I do. He says, oh, SSM, how young and dumb I was back then. Well, you know what? You had to learn the hard way. You may have been good at managing the operations of the business, but clearly the matchmaking and things that create attraction and so forth, you obviously didn't get. A while later, she screamed up at her relations with her family. He screwed up her relations with her family, and X was forced to move out. I offered her to move in with me because I saw it more than a chance than a liability. Oh, how wrong I was. With her, 2 horses had to move to another stable near us. She had no money at all, maxed out all her credit cards, yet was still driving an old Porsche, which she financed. Tiffany sold the said Porsche not soon after moving in with me because now she could use one of my cars and one of the company cars. Why are you with her? Or why were you with her? She's not all catch. She's terrible with money, maxed out credit cards. You said she's always with the horses, so she has a slight odor of the ranch and probably horse crap on her. I mean, really, man. Why? But okay, you were young and dumb and she was good looking. It was not long before everything went down the drain. Dude, it's been going down the drain. She did not take care of anything at the house. It always smelled like horse crap, and she was rarely home, but often seeing friends, as she put it. You smell like horse crap? Why are you... Okay. Thanks to my mom, who owns the property, she was kicked out just after a few months. So let me guess, your mom did it. You'd probably didn't have the balls to kick her out and say it's over. Your mom did it. I was furious, but in the end was very thankful. Times were tough, I was depressed, and did not cope with the situation well. Did not cope, I'd be doing fucking cartwheels. Get the smelly bitches out of my house. I wanted to end myself nearly every morning I drove into the office. I constantly had to think of her and all the things I could have been. What Tiffany and I could have been. Smack! Dude, wake, snap out of it. Past you. In the summer of 2019, we used to have some sort of an on-again, off-again relationship after that, where she would always love to talk to me about her other dates. Yet every time I needed some help, or we planned on meeting, she stood me up. The whole circus was over at the end of 2019. So you stayed friends with her afterwards. Yeah, she was kicked out, but you're more like your mama kicked her out. And then you stayed in the friend zone, and she would talk about her dates and all that stuff. I mean, bro, come on here. Our last big hurrah was a vacation in Egypt. Gee, who paid for that? We had a great hotel, and we were enjoying time. I read some good books, got drunk, and made friends and laughed with the people we met there. The final straw was her inviting some dude who was having a vacation nearby, and she met along to our hotel. Guess what she had planned? Oh, gee, I don't know, a three-something? Bro, what the hell? But, again, you had to go through all this crap to learn reality, and this is why you're R-pilled now, and that actually will help your matchmaking services. Is that we got along well. This guy, let's call him Steven, was actually a decent guy, and we joked and drank a lot that night. When the bar closed, she invited him to our 2-bedroom apartment. I brushed my teeth, went to bed, and they also went to bed and started making out. What the fuck? What this sounds to me like, they broke up because the mom kicked him out. She strung him along as like, in the friend zone. He probably paid for her to go to Egypt in a last attempt to maybe win her back, if you will. And then she's flirting with other guys and inviting him back to the hotel room and stuff like this. And this guy's just taking it. It's ridiculous. He goes on and on. There's also some aftermath to this. Just weeks after we separated, she got pregnant. Oh, how wonderful. We never used protection, and I'm so lucky nothing happened. I thought about it every now and then. Finally did a test in 2022, which stated I only shoot blanks. Thank God. So for a while, you thought that could have been your kid. Interestingly enough, once in a while, Steven gets up to me and asks how things are going. Once or twice a year, we chat or have a phone call. He met his wife during the COVID lockdown, and because of my profession, I was actually able to help him with some women-related issues, bros before hoes. This is the guy you met in Egypt, who your ex-girlfriend, who you're hanging out with, liked, invited him up to your room or something like that. I mean, and you stayed friends with him. This is so screwed up. But teaching and acting a certain way of life are two different things. So my heart was broken, but there was still hope for me, that a good man can find a good woman. In hindsight, no, he cannot, unless he stops acting like a simp. Right, you can be a good man and not be a pussy, or a simp, or whatever you want to call it. You stand up for yourself, you have standards, you have boundaries. You're not a doormat, you don't put him on a pedestal. So yes, a good man, but a good man doesn't act like a goddamn pussy. That's a problem, all you nice guys out there. After getting back in the dating market and some rather casual short-term flings, I met another girl roughly half a year later. Her name was Jessica, because we all love Jessicas, don't we? Never met a Jessica that wasn't crazy, guys. She was a sweet, kind, and 28-year-old female who also works in a family-owned business. She was in charge of production management and her stepdad's distillery. Boy, did I learn a lot about booze during that time. Well, that's interesting. She was as cold as ice at first, but I knew exactly what I was doing, and shortly after we started dating. Why would you get involved with a chick you say is cold as ice? And you're like, but I knew what I was doing. Clearly, no, you did not know what you were doing. You just thought you knew what you were doing. I learned everything with my horse crap smelling ex-girlfriend who was using me, but now I know. No. And shortly after we started dating. It began with a coffee date, and we introduced our dogs, and before you know it, we saw each other 1 or 2 times every week. We met in April or May, and I took things rather slowly. Being a gentleman, I always took the chance meeting her. Gentleman. Even offering to drive her home from a wedding party, which meant staying awake until 1 a.m., driving for 1.5 hours, and then half an hour back to her place. So you're her servant. You're like her manservant. That's going to go real well. The blue-pilled guy I was back then, I slept on the couch. Surprisingly, she stayed there with me. In August, I booked a vacation, and finally I was able to score. So you're doing all this crap, and then finally you pay for a vacation, and then you finally score. She's probably like, all right, finally, I'm going to have to hook up with this guy sooner or later, and he'll stop paying for things. Mr. Matchmaker. She seemed quite off and not really enjoying it as much as I did. No shit. I discovered later she had something I can't pronounce and cervical cancer and had to undergo surgery sometime before we met. Okay, that happened before you met. Something went wrong, and she does not feel intercourse like she did before the surgery. After intercourse, of course, I used protection. She referred to my semen as dirt. That really hurt. I told her this was mean, and she apologized, and I did not pay any further attention to it. She called your love juice dirt. Dude, Miss Cold as Ice. Why the hell are you with her? So far, so good. From now on, almost every time we met, we hooked up. Sometimes even 2 or 3 times in a row. I started to feel the tingles. She obviously was in love as well, and we were happy. Are you sure about that? Usually we enjoy starting the day in such a way, but somehow it got quite dry in that department. We spent weekends together, enjoying things, meeting people, watching movies, going out for dinner, the usual stuff. The first weekend without intercourse was somewhat odd, and I did not think about it further, but it started to happen more and more often. Oh, so the more in your relationship, the less you're hooking up. She got tired of your dirt. In the meantime, relationships with my mother and the company started to suffer. She saw something I did not. Yeah, I bet she did. In November 2021, we moved together. I paid for everything. Moving company, deposit, rent, renovations, 4,000 liters of heating oil, everything. But I didn't care. I had more than enough money in the bank to cover all expenses for at least 1 year, so I thought, smack. You said she works for her family business. Obviously, she makes a comfortable income. What, she can't pay for everything? Or you got to be the man to show her that you can take care of your little lady? Bro, I canceled my job at the family business, started working as a salesman. So I thought you were doing great at your family business, unless maybe your mom was probably telling you to shape up or get out. Shape up or ship out. One of the most eye-opening experiences I had in my life. I still followed some of the other projects, and Jessica started to interfere with my goals. She demanded I don't use my business cell phone after 7 p.m., having one afternoon completely off during the week, and so on. It was very hard to start my own business under these circumstances, but I managed to make the best out of it. Bro, you can't let a woman get in the way of your career or dreams of starting a business or anything like that. What the hell's the matter with you? But again, you mentioned earlier how you want to get married and have kids, and you have all this classic nice guy, clueless nice guy behavior. Again, Mr. Matchmaker. I mean, I don't know how people were hiring your company when you were the top guy in there, when clearly, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. But I guess, again, it's the matchmaking is what people look good on paper. You know what I mean? Okay, two high-income, high-earner people, blah, 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 blah. Okay, let's match them together. I mean, really. I think a lot of these matchmakers don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're full of shit. But life experience teaches you, and now you're better for it, but still. Maybe 3 months into us living together, intimacy came to a halt. There's a shocker. She claimed to have a fungal infection down there and does not want to sleep with me because of it. We had a huge argument about it, and I told her to do something about it and visit the doctor. Since I care for her needs, she has to care for mine. Well, that's reasonable. She made a whole list of excuses, including housework being so much, but would not accept a cleaning lady inside our home. I always helped out around the house, but don't get me wrong, but I'm more of a pay someone for type of guy. So every Sunday, I cleaned up the grounds floor of the house, which of course the most physically demanding job. Took a shower and wanted to enjoy my Sunday with her. Every week, I got more and more frustrated, to the point we had no intimacy whatsoever, not even a hand job for 4 months. Bro, what the fuck? She's like, hey, this guy pays for everything. I don't have to do shit. And you hate cleaning. You have a cleaning lady do that, but she didn't want the cleaning lady to come in. So now you're on your hands and knees scrubbing the fucking bathroom floor or scrubbing the toilet. Bro, what the fuck? I got really upset and asked her what else in the world she wants. Good luck with that one. You mean you can't make her happy? Bro, I guarantee a guy that made no money but put her in her place would make her more happy than you kissing her ass. No wonder she doesn't want to fuck you. I need my needs taken care of regularly. I said, otherwise we are just friends sharing a home. Jessica was in tears and promised to do better. Hobag Handbook Chapter 2. I offered to help her through this whole cancer experience, but she had to commit herself to it. The result was more tears. From now on, Sundays was kind of enough to from now on, Sundays she was kind enough to give me a hand job. Once, maybe twice a month, we actually had intercourse. Oh, yippee. During this whole time, she tried to separate me from my friends and family, whereas I had to be around every occasion to be the boyfriend around Jessica's family and friends. Classic example, she's trying to tear down everything good in your life so she can totally control you, and you were letting her do it. Why? Because she was that hot? You couldn't get some other girl? My God, man. Don't worry, guys, you will learn in the end. I like to invite my best buddies over for the weekend for barbecue, banter, and drinking. Not with her, you are not. Bro, you deserve exactly what you got. You paid for everything. You were pussy whipped. You allowed her to boss you around. No wonder she doesn't want to sleep with you. I mean, come on here. No woman would. No, this is why women can't stand weak ass men. And yeah, and a lot of them are gonna pull shit like this on purpose. So you'll fucking man up and put them in their place or dump them. Then they'll cry, I want you to take them back, because then you're finally acting like a guy with some balls. She was extremely manipulative and always came up with other excuses or a medical condition. Why can I have friends over my place? Being a migraine, her period, or her dog's acting strange. She always made a huge deal out of it. Whenever I had plans, whenever she had plans, though, nothing mattered, and we went whenever the F she wanted to go. Because you were pee-whipped, and you had no balls, no spine. As you know the scheme, this is how it went for another 6 months or so. We went to couples therapy, which of course was held by a woman. I learned how to approach certain things differently. I'm not perfect, and I know that. It gave me clarity and taught me valuable conversation skills. At least it was not a complete waste of time. Yeah, but why go to couples therapy? And I could solve your fucking problems real quick. Again, Mr. Matchmaking guy. You were weak. She's a user. You were turning her off. She was punishing you. And round you go. And because of that, she didn't want to sleep with you. I guarantee if you fucking acted like a man, had some balls, and stood up for yourself, and was a leader, and put her in her place, you'd have a totally different situation here. Bedroom fun was down to a complete halt again. Shocker. I was angry at her not doing anything in order to keep up the relationship. I did talk with her one night in autumn of 2022 and basically kicked her out again of my bed, and the following 6 weeks she slept on the couch. Good, it's about fucking time. Maybe you need to get your mama to come in again and kick her out. She can go hang out with a girl who smells like horse crap. I started to negotiate again with my mother by joining the company again. She was happy I decided to take the step, or learn my lesson, if you will. So they went back to mama crying to get your job back. I think mama kicked you out of the family business because you were probably fucking things up. When Jessica finally moved out, the house was a mess. Shocker. A lot of my stuff was missing and there was trash everywhere. What? It took me a while to clean everything up and to find myself again. I did not want anything to do with women and started to think, is there something wrong with me? Well, there was a lot of things wrong with you. Let's be honest here. I do this show to help guys. Yeah, she's an a-hole and she was using you and all that, but yeah, there was a lot wrong with you. I listed all the things wrong with you. You know what's wrong with you. I'll need to do it again. That is the time I discovered RP content, and shortly after I discovered your channel. Praise the Lord. So, in other words, he's probably got to the point that's like, what the hell's wrong with me? What am I doing wrong here? And he started probably Googling it and YouTube. Why'd she break up with me? Why won't she sleep with me? And probably somehow content like mine and my channel popped up. He started watching videos like, aha, that's why she's turned off. That's why women treat me like this. I listened to a lot of your stories, laughed very hard, but thought about parallels in my life too. 18 months had passed since I finally grew a pair of balls. I used online dating again. Well, clearly they didn't learn a lot from me if you're back to the online dating again. Had some flings and never took any sort of crap of them. Thanks to you, SSM, but also to others, I'm not only a male human being, but I'm also a man now. Well, good. Let's keep it that way. I'm sure listening to all those videos and hearing guys make the same mistakes as you did help make you feel better, but also realize where you're going wrong. In February 2024, I met this chick, Anna. She's a lot younger than me and comes from a stable family. Her family has a lot more money than mine. In this case, it is a good thing, because I have started to become allergic to gold diggers. She is very sweet soul, caring, understanding, and has neither been influenced by online dating nor by feminism. Well, that's great, but if you behave in a manner like you've done in your previous relationships, real quick she can turn into a fucking asshole, and you're not going to be getting any. So I'm hoping you've learned your lessons. She's sociable, submissive, friendly, modest, trusting, and the best one. Following my lead to become a freak in the sheets. All the good things a man wants. That's great. You earned that. But you have to. If you start slipping up again because you start feeling comfortable, she'll start behaving like your exes, I bet. It says, fun fact, Anna had a very close friend, female friend called Phoebe, who is a 304 from the books and blames everything on men. You said you said had a close friend. Okay, let's keep it that way. You don't want this Anna girl hanging out with Phoebe or types like her carousel runners who's going to rub off on her. So you said had, past tense. The first evening we met, Phoebe tried to BS me and got a corresponding reaction. Basically, it ruined the evening for Phoebe and therefore all of us due to her making a scene. The next morning, I woke up next to Anna and I was able to predict Phoebe's next actions. It was a deep talk about people who are honestly concerned about each other. Phoebe does not like that I have seen through her and threw a huge tantrum at the next occasion that we met. For the better of our relationship, I have reached my goal. Anna and Phoebe basically have split up. Anna has learned to keep away from bullshit and is very thankful I opened her eyes. She likes to show it on every occasion, and you know what I mean. Okay, good. That's good to hear. So you've learned. You've learned a lot. It's a long story already. The blue pill matchmaking agent becoming R-pilled. And even my clients, male and female, benefit from it. You're darn right. I don't know how they benefited previously when you didn't know what the hell you were doing. You know? And again, maybe you handled the operational things and bookkeeping and all that type of crap for running the business. But in terms of like couples and all that stuff, bro, you how can you be helping people find their match when you didn't know what the fuck you were doing? But now you've learned reality and now it's helping you. There's no way on earth will I ever fall in love with a woman. No matter how amazing what this one may be, I'm ready to leave the second she disrespects me. And she knows it. I'm done dealing with this crap. I invited her to follow me on this journey, and she agreed. The second she interferes, she is gone forever. Okay, well here's the thing, man. You can meet a gal who you can connect with and have something good with and all that. The thing is, You before were just this big, giant, ridiculous pleaser, as you said you were. You'd light yourself on fire to keep somebody else warm, and you burned yourself to nothing. You behave like you are. You guys, absolutely, you need to be the type. You have to have the mindset that, I could leave at any time. And she needs to know that. Women need to know. Women are never going to respect a guy unless they know absolutely they push him too far, whatever that may be, he's out of there. Otherwise, they're going to pull bullshit. And even then, they're going to test just like little kids. That's just how they are. That ain't cool. You don't have to accept it. You don't have to like that if you don't want to, obviously. This is why you got to take charge. You need to not put on the pedestal. Make yourself a priority. You can be good to her and fun and all that. Really. But it has to be reciprocated. You were too nice, too pleasing, too weak, too all these things back in the day. And look how they all treated you. Now you're obviously putting yourself first, acting like a fucking man, taking charge, and you're making it clear that she knows that if she crosses you, you're out of there. And things are going well. So there you go. But I promise you, if you start behaving like you did back in the day, you can expect varying degrees of the same crap you got from the previous girlfriend. So I hope you learned your lesson. And I'm also hoping that this knowledge you've gained, both from learning the hard way and all the things you learned on my channel and implementing these things you've learned and it's benefited you, can help benefit your business, because then you'll actually know what you're talking about, potentially if you involve with clients. But I don't know how you had a successful business if you didn't, the matchmaking agency business, when you didn't know what the hell you were doing. But I guess obviously you weren't dealing with clients firsthand. Maybe there's other people in the firm. Maybe your mama knew what she was doing. Who the fuck knows? And then again, maybe it's just easy simply to match people. They look great on paper. Those interests, hobbies, interests and stuff like that. But in terms of like the dynamics of creating attraction and making things last and all these types of things to talk about, clearly that wasn't part of the equation. But I'm glad you've learned and you're doing well, and I wish you all the best. Definitely an interesting story from the matchmaker here. Alright guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me just think about this. Be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.